Morning, everyone. August 17th, 2020. Busy couple of weeks now that school's almost back and doing a mentoring course through the Ontario Principals Group. It's going to be a crazy week. And here sits in front of me Shakespeare Sonnet 146. I have one word to say. Controversy, as the British might put it. So, start with Patterson. We're going to start and end with Patterson again because it's so much fun. He says, this is a terrific poem. He says it has a reputation for being being Shakespeare's, the most religious poem. Patterson argues with that. He disagrees to a point. While it is religious, he doesn't feel it is his most religious. And he goes on to explain why that is. And if I may read this, the poem seems to describe a conflict between the soul and the body, but the subtle important point is that the soul directs the proceedings. Albeit, as I see now, the soul directs its energies towards bodily display and ornament. And Patterson goes on to discuss that, and then goes into a viciously detailed breakdown of every line. He does truly love this sonnet. However, there's a second part of the analysis that's really important. Apparently, line 2 begins with a missing foot. There is a syllable missing. So Patterson begins by talking about the metric problem that we're missing an iamb, a duh. So he talks about the beginnings of lines, and I think everybody's done their iambic pentameter, and we kind of remember it. The trochee, da, the spondy, da. So there's all these things that good Shakespeare scholars, not me, but good Shakespeare scholars can parse out very well and get them into an argument. So he goes on to talk about C.H. Sisson, who says basically this is the holy grail of sonnet discussion. How to figure out what went there, or is there another reading through one of the quattros, which no one has found, of the language of the second line that would give us another syllable. And so far, and he goes over the different varieties of suggestions and the people that have suggested them. Patterson has some harsh words for some of the other people that write about it, and talks about syntax of the time period, etc., etc. It's brilliant. It's really worth listening to. I think at the end of all this madness, what I should do is really just post a link to this book, because it's really worth reading. And the great thing is, there are 3, 4, 5, 6 pages per sonnet, and in each one you learn something new. Like I learned more about the punctuation, which when we started this, you realize that I was clueless as to why the punctuation was as it was. Now I've learned a great deal more about it. A lot of it is simply editor's interpretation of the 1609 Quattro or the previous version, the PP version. So, is it a good sonnet? Yes, death, the term is personified in here. So I will try to read it with that missing iamb the best I can. I'm not Sir Patrick Stewart, but I'll give it a whirl. Poor soul, the center of my sinful earth, these rebel powers that thee array, why dost thou pine within and suffer dearth, painting thy outward walls so costly gay? Why so large cost, having so short a lease, dost thou upon thy fading mansion spend? Shall worms, inheritors of the success, eat up thy charge? Is this thy body's end? Then, soul, live thou upon thy servant's loss, and let that pine to aggravate thy store. Buy terms divine in selling hours of dross. Within be fed, without be rich no more. So shalt thou feed on death that feeds on men, and death once dead, there's no dying then. So on immediate reading, it's kind of hard to catch all the religious subtext. But as Patterson himself says, once you've read it 10 times, it begins to make itself more clear. And he just goes through every line and talks so much about the detail. It's really worth reading. So have a great day. See you tomorrow.